Let's put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Lord, we praise you for giving us this new life, this opportunity to meet once again. We thank you for your the guidance and the safety. We ask you to bless each and every one of us that we may be able to decide the things clearly and in good faith. We ask you to keep us in good health always. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Exit. Secretariat. Please do the roll call.
Yes, sir. Please acknowledge lang po. For our attendees, we have the Chair, General Banayad, sir, Mr. Mendoza, our Vice Chair, Attorney Roberto Martin Benaventura.
Yes, online.
Online. Engineer Demetrio Apolinar.
Present.
Engineer Felipe Lavado.
Present.
Ms. Amaris Gabriel.
She's actually on camera.
And you, sir, from the ENS, General Stability, sir. Thank you, sir. ENS, Ms. Rose Tan. Thank you. Head Technical Working Group, Attorney Frank Edward Martin.
Present.
Attorney Godfrey Ragudo. Online.
Online.
Engineer Jasper Ponce. Engineer Raul Lucena. Engineer Michael Ian Ilagan. Engineer Alexander Abba.
Not absent.
Engineer Elga Rasatil. Maria Cristina
He's online.
Balon.
Also online.
Balonon,
Online.
online. Vanessa Caime. Online.
Online.
Miss Priscilla Bautista.
Online.
Yambu Christian Navales.
Online.
Jopelan Joseph Telefranca. Engineer Gary Jali.
Present.
Engineer Norik Baez. Online.
Yes, online.
Engineer Hilario Agne Jr.
Not online.
After technical consultants, Attorney Irish Person. Colonel Winston Alves.
Online.
General Dionisio Robles.
He's online.
Colonel Maria Benita Pugoy.
She's on online.
BAC Secretariat, Dr. Romy Bayaban. Maria de la Marca present, Ms. Melina Reyes. Speaker, Mr. Thomas Dos Santos.
Present.
Ms. Alma Galileo.
Online.
Iñak Isquelo Masanta.
Online.
Online. Nathaniel Tordesillas.
Not online. Absent.
We have observers from the Internal Audit Service. That's all, sir.
Ang bawa, wala.
Hindi pa makasal, pero we gave the notice of meeting, also with the DOTR.
Okay.
Ms. Bani, Amaris Gabriel, sir, is here.
Since we have the quorum, we now call this meeting to order. What is our agenda?
For our agenda, sir, first agenda is the opening of bids for the purchase and installation of communications equipment for vehicle or new Legazpi International Airport amounting to 33,733,000 pesos under the ENS office. At present, sir, we did not receive any bid proposals. We have tawag dito. Withdrawal, letter of regret from Integrated Energy Systems and Resources Incorporated.
Will you give a copy of this letter to ENS?
Yes, sir.
The second to the last paragraph is important. We are hoping that PAC will revisit, review the requirement, broader requirement, allow one participation given. We also noted the same specs are being adopted for Pagadian Airport project. Meron ba?
Communication security.
Yes, sir. If I may, Mr. Chair, yes, same equipment, Mr. Chair, was also adopted in the Pagadian project, Pagadian Airport project, similar specification and details.
Ito lang yung speaker mo? ADMS? Pagadian?
Yes, sir.
This week, next week? This week? So, DWD, any recommendation?
Sir, considering that today's opening bid, there are no bidders or who submitted their bid proposal, the TWG recommends, Mr. Chair, that that the procurement of the project entitled purchase and installation of communication equipment for Bicol New Legazpi International Airport in the amount of 33,733,000 with bid number 19-009-10 Charlie, be declared failed.
Any comment? Members?
To the chair,
Yes, please.
I'd like, I'd like also to read the message of Road and Swartz. Hi, good afternoon, Ms. Eda. Pasensya po, di kami makahabol. Road and Swartz.
Okay.
Di po kami makakabid sa Bicol Coms after di po ma-approve yung division request namin sa type of radio reflected sa bid bulletin number 3. Hirap po kami makahabol sa presyo na pasok sa ABC.
Please give the copy of that message, Joseph.
Yes, sir. I forwarded it to Jogat earlier.
I'm worried about ANS projects. It appears that the specs are hindi ma-comply ng mga proponents. Please review this properly and come up with your recommended para hindi tayo fail ng fail. The next thing the next project that you will present to this BAC CHARLIE on the ANS projects, i-present nyo muna sa amin yung maayos na specs ninyo. So that hindi paulit-ulit. I am demoralized actually. Nakatawa. Pangalawa na ganito. Hindi ma-comply ng bidder. Why? And yet, isang airport lang ito. We still have several airports which will be using this equipment. So ayusan na natin yung specs nyo. I heard that yung BAC Alpha, meron din ganito na nag-trade. In fact, this one, galing din Alpha ito. Please review this. Hindi ko tatanggapin yan unless you have pinag-aralan nyo na yung specs na yun. Come up with very definite specs. Okay? Sige, comment ko lang yun. Next.
Mr. Chair.
Do we have,
If I may, Mr. Chair.
iiwaman pa ba yan? Motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, for that to be documented as failed bidding, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Member? Any motion on this?
Ito na tayo.
Mr. Chair, I move the product the recommendation of PWG, the opening of bids for the purchase, installation and communication equipment of equal new Legazpi International Airport. Paid and recommended to review the technical specification by end user.
Review. Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Next.
Number 3, agenda, the presentation of technical working groups report, post-qualification evaluation report for construction of runway embankment phase 2, runway strip embankment, STA, at Busuanga, amounting to 305,328,679.80. PWG.
Engineer Mike Ilagan, Mr. Chair, will present the post-qualification report.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. We will be reporting the post-qualification report for the construction of runway embankment phase 2, runway strip embankment station 900 to station 1340 at Busuanga Airport. The AEC of the project is 305,238,679.28 pesos. So the lowest calculated bidder is a joint venture of IBC International Builders Corporation and 100% Construction and Development Corporation. So based on bid evaluation, their bid is 299,744,692.15 pesos. For the eligibility technical and financial documents during the opening of bids, PhilJet's registration are responsive. For IBC, PhilJet's is valid until 16 September 2020, and for OHP, valid until September 26, 2020. Registration certificate from the SEC or DTI, responsive. For IBC, submitted SEC on with the dated September 26, 2016, and for OHP, they submitted the SEC dated November 2, 2016. For the business and mayor's permit, responsive. For IBC, mayor's permit issued at the City of Iloilo, valid until 31 December 2020. And for OHP, permit issued by the municipality of Coron, valid until 31 December 2020. Tax clearance, responsive for IBC, valid until 31 January 2021, and for OHP, valid until 20 August 2020. Valid pickup license, responsive. IBC submitted pickup category AAA. And for OHP, we pick up category AAA. Valid during the opening of bids. Statement of ongoing government and private contracts. Responsive. So these are the projects of IBC and OHP. And then number 7, SLCC. Responsive. IBC with project with a contract amount of 1,105,088,888 pesos. And for OHP with project with contract amount of 177,182,577.54 pesos.
Pakibalik na sa ADMS, i-take note mo nga ito, nung palapang palawa. Ganyan, baka later ibigay sa yan. Napuntaan namin yan 2 years ago. Please take note na. Please proceed.
Audited financial statements are responsive. IBC submitted audited financial statement for 2018-2019. Staff by IDR on June 18, 2020, and OHP submitted the 2018-2019 financial statement. Staff received by the BIR on June 18, 2020. The FCC computation responsive for IBC, then FCC is 16,185,310,750.73 pesos. For OHP, the MFCC is 4,026,887,202.54 pesos. MFCC is more than the ABC. Joint venture agreement, responsive. Special pickup license for joint venture, responsive. Valid during the opening bids. For the technical documents, bid security in the form of bid security declaration, responsive. Organizational chart for the contract, responsive. List of contractors personnel, responsive. List of contractors equipment units, responsive. Omnibus first statement, responsive. Duly signed and notarized. Certificate of site inspection, duly signed by the airport manager or OIC, responsive. Photo of company ID of the person who conducted the site inspection, responsive. Photocopy of the airport visitors logbook, responsive. Attached bid bulletin from bid bulletin number 1 to 5, responsive. For the financial documents, financial bid form, responsive. They offered a bid of 299,744,692.15 pesos. After bid evaluation, the recalculated bid is 299,744,692.15 pesos. That's a difference of 5,493,000 987.73 pesos from the ABC. Bill of quantities, responsive. Bid proposal, responsive. Detailed estimate, responsive. Summary sheet indicating construction materials, labor rates, equipment rates, responsive. Cash flow by quarter payment schedule, responsive. Per CPM network diagram, responsive. Construction schedule, bar chart and S-curve, responsive. As per submitted connection to ITB section 28.2, we did an extendable period of 5 calendar days from 6 by the bidder of the notice from the BAC that it submitted the LCB. The bidder shall submit the following documentary requirements: latest income and business tax returns, submitted, responsive, ITC for business tax period of December 31, 2019, date of filing June 13, 2020. For OHP, business tax period of December 31, 2019, date of filing April 12, 2020. Other appropriate licenses and permits required by law and stated in the BDS, submitted, responsive. Latest audited financial statements, submitted, responsive. Key personnel licenses, submitted, responsive. With your reference to the above findings, submit proposal of IBC International. Okay. Of International, IBC International Builders Corporation, 100% Construction and Development Corporation joint venture, was evaluated to have offered the lowest calculated responsive bid for having complied with all the legal, technical, and financial requirements. It must be noted that during the opening of bids last June 11, 2020, the submitted bid price of IBC OHP joint venture was 299,744,692.15 pesos. Based on bid evaluation report dated June 15, 2020, the calculated bid price is 299,744,692.15 pesos. The submitted bid price of IBC and OHP and venture in the amount of 299,744,692.15 is equal to its calculated bid.
It's your big one size.
It's equal to calculated bid price. So, Mr. Chair, the BAC PWG recommends that a contract for the project entitled Construction of Runway Embankment Phase 2, Runway Strip Embankment Station 900 to Station 1 plus 340 at Busuanga Airport be awarded to IBC International Builders Corporation, 100% Construction and Development Corporation joint venture, for being the lowest calculated responsive bid in its submitted bid price of 299,744,692.15 pesos. For your approval, sir.
Comments from the members? Any motion?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
I move to adopt the recommendation of PWG to award the contract to IBC International Builders Corporation, joint venture with 100% Construction and Development Corporation for the project construction of runway embankment phase 2, runway strip embankment station 0 plus 900 to station 1 plus 340 with the amount of 99,744,692 pesos and 15 centavos.
Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Would like to inform the Beach and Awards Committee, Charlie, that this project will be presented to the board for approval, considering that the project amount is more than 50 million, and we will be presenting this project on the next board meeting on July 14.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, please.
Sure, going back to the vehicle project, because we have already failed 2 times. So the next procedure would be verification. Maybe the technical working group and the secretary should also prepare for the verification group. That advance the activity, so we can save time.
Do we still have to publish this?
Before that, Mr. Chair, if I get it right, Mr. Chair, the motion of member engineer Demetrio is that to revert the project, to revert the documents, the back documents to the end user, for the end user to review the technical specification and review the amount of the project before we can proceed whether we go for the negotiation or conduct a different procurement for this particular project.
Of course, when a project has failed in the bidding, it's automatic that the end user reviews the documents. And I think negotiation is in proper order, having had 2 failed biddings already. Ang tanong ko lang, ipapublish pa ito eh. Di ba? Yes.
If I may speak, the chair, it is an option of the BAC kung i-negotiate or kung nakita talagang flawed ang specs, pwedeng automatic review of the specifications. Decision po ng BAC.
And to review, may motion na yan kanina, di ba? To review the specs.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Kasi sir, say for example, upon the review of the end user, sir, there will be changes in the technical specification and or the amount of the project, then it would definitely affect the current status of the project. It would change the entire, we would go back to step one, sir.
Step one.
So,
No negotiation.
but say for example, sir, upon review of the end user, they will stick to their specification and to the amount of the project, then we can proceed with the negotiation.
So let them review first and then come up with the recommendation.
Yes.
Yun naman ang motion.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Sige, please.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have the timeline for the review? Mga ilang panlaya? Mga ilang days?
Maybe we can just give 5 days. I'm not sure for ANS, sir, if the ANS can commit within 5 days time to review and revisit the big documents and the technical specification. May I request from the end user, sir, if they can commit within 5 days?
Yes, sir, considering the specification as evaluated before, there are only few failed items in the specification before. And as to the price, somebody was able to comply with the price. So if we will only correct the specification, then it will be easier. it will be faster. If somebody already complied with the
Because Mr. Chair, if my memory serves me right, during our back meeting with Alpha, the same project, similar specification was also reverted to ANS to further study the amount of the project. Maybe the amount is not commensurate to this technical specification. So in that particular procurement, Mr. Chair, just to compare, we put on hold the succeeding actions of the back pending the evaluation of the end user, Mr. Chair.
The question here is, can we give 5 days to ANS to comply with the review of this? Or we give them 5 days. We write them to review this within 5 days.
Yes, noted, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next,
Next item, the presentation also of the technical working group's post-qualification evaluation report for VCOL or New Legazpi Airport Development Project, street grade correction, embankment, construction of access road, provision of slope protection and RCPC amounting to 275,545,459 and 61 centavos under the AMS.
For ADMS PWG, sir, Engineer Raul Cosena will present the post-qualification report of the PWG.
Good afternoon, sir. I will report the post-qualification report for the vehicle to the Legazpi Airport Development Project, street grade correction, embankment, construction of access road, provision of slope protection, and RCPC. The location is vehicle New Legazpi Airport, Daragal by. The approved ABC is 275,545,459 pesos and 61 centavos. Bid number is 20-004-04 Charlie, and the date of opening is June 5, 2020. The lowest calculated bid is 206,961,079 pesos and 90 centavos, and the contractor is Sunwest Construction and Development Corporation / High Tone Construction and Development Corporation joint venture. For the eligibility document, PLGF certification of registration responsive for Sunwest, certificate of PLGF registration, validity until December 5, 2020, and High Tone validity is up to October 27, 2020. Registration certificate from the SEC or DTI. For Sunwest, SEC certificate, registration date, November 25, 1997. For High Tone, SEC certificate, registration date, February 9, 2007. Responsive. Business or mayor permits for Sunwest, issued at Legazpi Airport, valid until December 31, 2020. For High Tone, issued at Municipality of Santo Domingo Albay, valid until December 31, 2020. Tax clearance, responsive, Sunwest, tax clearance issued last January 15 and valid until January 15, 2021. For High Tone, valid until February 11, 2021. Pickup license for Sunwest, valid until June 30, 2020, and for High Tone, valid until June 30, 2020. It is valid during the opening of bid. Responsive. Statement of all ongoing government project. for Bicol International Airport Development Project, Package 1 amounting to 708,288,778 pesos and 99 centavos. And the other project is amounting to 230,569,874 pesos and 29 centavos responsive. For the SLCC for Sunwest, for New Bicol International Airport again, the amount is 708,208 pesos and 20 centavos responsive. Audited financial statement for Sunwest. Audited financial statement for the fiscal year 2018 and 2019, stamped by BIR, June 16, 2020. For Hightone, fiscal year 2018 and 2019, received by BIR on May 27, 2020, responsive. For the NFCC, Sunwest, amounting to 24,141,548,701 pesos and 53 centavos. For Hightone, amounting to 8,567,440,345 pesos and 77 centavos. NFCC is more than the ABC, responsive. For joint venture agreement, duly signed and authorized, responsive. Special pickup license for joint venture, valid until June 30, 2020. During the opening of bid, it is valid, responsive. For technical documents, bid security, duly signed and authorized, responsive. Organizational chart, responsive. List of contractors personnel, responsive. List of contractors equipment, unit, responsive. Omnibus form statement, responsive, duly signed and authorized. Certificate of site inspection, responsive, duly signed certificate of site inspection issued by Mr. Edgar B. Issued to Mr. Edward B. Bombase, Jr. Issued by Ms. Cynthia Tumano, Area Airport Manager of Legazpi Airport. Photocopy of company ID, responsive. Photocopy of airport visitor logbook, responsive, with the entry name of Edgar T. Bombase, Jr. For bid bulletin, responsive, they submitted the bid bulletin number 1, 2, 3, and filed a motion for reconsideration for bid bulletin number 4, and the bid and awards committee granted the request for reconsideration. Second envelope for financial document, financial bid form. Offered the amount of 206,960,713 pesos and 13 centavos, and upon evaluation, their calculated bid is 206,961,079 pesos and 90 centavos. It has a difference of 68,584,379 pesos and 71 pesos from the ABC, responsive. Bill of quantities, responsive. Bid proposal, responsive. Detailed estimate, responsive. Summary of construction material, labor rates, and equipment, responsive. Cash flow by quarter and payment schedule, responsive. CPM network diagram, responsive. Construction schedule, bar chart, and S-curve, responsive. For the additional document, submitted document, latest income tax and business tax return, submitted responsive for Sunwest business tax period of April 30, 2020, date of filing, June 6, 2020. For high-tone, for business tax period of January 1 to May 5, 2020, date of filing, May 5, 2020. Other appropriate license and permit, submitted, responsive, and renew pickup license and registration valid until June 30, 2021. Latest audited financial statement, submitted, responsive. Key personnel's license, submitted, responsive. With reference to the above findings, the bid proposal of Sunrise Construction Development Corporation / High-Tone Construction and Development Corporation joint venture was evaluated to have offered the lowest calculated responsive bid for having complied with all the technical and financial requirements. It must be noted that during the opening of bid last June 2020, the submitted bid price of Sunwest Construction and Development Corporation High-Tone Construction and Development Corporation joint was 206,960,713 pesos and 13 centavos. Based on the bid evaluation report dated June 15, 2020, the calculated bid price of Sunwest Construction and Development Corporation High-Tone Construction and Development Corporation venture was 206,961,079 pesos and 90 centavos. The submitted bid price of Sunwest Construction and High-Tone joint venture in the amount of 206,960,713 pesos and 13 centavos is lower than the calculated bid price of 206,961,079 pesos and 90 centavos. For the recommendation, accordingly, it is hereby recommended that the contract for bid for the project entitled Bicol New Legazpi Airport Development Project, Street Grade Correction, Embankment, construction of access road, provision of slope protection, and RCPC be awarded to Sunwest Construction and Development Corporation / High-Tone Construction and Development Corporation joint venture for being the lowest calculated responsive bid in its submitted bid price of 206,960,713 pesos and 13 centavos for approval.
Any comments from the members? Any motion?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
I move to adopt the recommendation of PWG to award a contract to Sunwest Construction and Development Corporation, High-Tone Construction and Development Corporation joint venture for the project Bicol New Legazpi Airport Development Project, Street Grade Correction, Embankment, construction of access road, provision of slope protection and RCPC for the lowest calculated responsive bid in the amount of 206,960,713 pesos and 13 centavos.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. Chair, this project will also be presented to the CAAP board for approval this coming 14th July.
Okay, thank you. Any more, Secretariat?
Fourth agenda, sir, the discussion of the motion for consideration of the following projects. First, the purchase installation of automated weather observing system or owls for new Bicol International Airport. We sent the disqualification letter to the bidder, specifically domestic trading, and they were able to file an MR within 3 days. This is their MR.
Okay, any comment, PWG?
Mr. Chair, we prepared a letter reply for draft letter reply for the said MR. So we'd like to read the contents of the reply. It will be addressed to the sales manager of Domestic Trading Corporation, and the contents are as follows. This is reference to your letter dated 26 June 2020 in relation to the disqualification of Domestic Trading Corporation for the project entitled Purchase Installation of Automated Weather Serving System AWOS for Blue Beacon International Airport. The Bids and Awards Committee, Charlie, considered it as your motion for reconsideration. Moreover, BAC CHARLIE finds your request for reconsideration on your non-compliant items bereft of merit. So we indicated in the table, Mr. Chair, the requirements under ITB section 19.1 and 19.2. And the requirements are for 19.1, it says that bidders shall submit their bid through their duly authorized representative using the appropriate forms provided in section 8, bidding forms on or before the deadline specified in the ITB clause 21 in 2 separate sealed bid envelopes, and which shall be submitted simultaneously. The first shall contain the technical component of the bid, including the eligibility requirements under ITB clause 12.1, and the second shall contain the financial component of the bid. This shall also be observed for each lot in the case of lot procurement. In ITB 19.2, Mr. Chair, it says it provides that forms as mentioned in ITB clause 19.1 must be completed without any alterations to their format, and no substitute shall be accepted. All blank spaces shall be filled in with the information requested. So we reviewed the forms that we gave to the bidders, Mr. Chair, and we confirmed that the submitted forms or the accomplished forms by the bidders is not in accordance with the form that we provided. Thus, the above instructions to the bidders categorically require the use of the prescribed form, and that any alteration to their format shall not be accepted. Similarly, substitute form shall not be permitted. Thus, BAC CHARLIE, or accordingly, BAC CHARLIE hereby denies your motion for reconsideration.
Do you have a copy of this?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Andiyan ba? Ina? Just to be sure, yung sinasabi nyo
Yung sobrang
Ina?
We will just get the documents, Mr. Chair.
Pag mayroon tayong ganyan, be sure to bring the proof.
Okay, sir. Next time, sir. Yes, we will. Sorry.
Okay, please explain.
First, Mr. Chair, we would like to show the prescribed form po muna. So, we gave this form, sir, in the form of, it's a PDF file, and we gave it to them through USB. So, they cannot alter or they cannot make changes to the forms unless they will make their own format. So, there's no way for them to change the form because it's a PDF file. Then the submission, Mr. Chair, is so. Sir Jopez. This is the submission of the bidder, Mr. Chair. Okay. We will just reproduce, Mr. Chair, the prescribed form. Kasi kung hindi mabasa, pwede yung Xerox natin para bigyan sila. Para makita nila. 1 minute. Naka-attach dyan sa job.
Ginawa nila.
Ito bangus ko ah.
Sir Gabby, nandiyan na yung isa.
Ano ba ang offense niya dito? Signing of bids, instruction, wala sa signature.
Sir, yung form, they did not use the prescribed form. So, in computing or in calculating the calculated bid, sir, we cannot determine the calculated bid because it is not in our form, and it will result, say for example, if we will continue to use the form that they submitted, the resulting amount would be more than the ABC. But primarily, sir, uh, it is clear in our instructions to leaders that they have to specifically use a specific form.
Sinasirap sila, ilang pages na yun?
Just one page.
Hindi ko na lang po.
Mr. Chair, Engineer Torrefranca will further discuss the non-compliance.
Again, please.
Mr. Chair, the prescribed form, Mr. Chair, the prescribed form that is attached in the official review document for the project is this one, comprising 10 columns. Ten columns, for item, the number item, description, country of origin, quantity, unit price, X works per item, transportation and insurance, and all other costs incidental to the delivery per item, sales and other taxes payable, contract is awarded per item, cost of incidental services if applicable per item, and the total price per unit with the following formula: 5, column 5, plus 6, plus 7, and 8. And then for column 10 is the total price delivered final destination. With the formula column 9 multiplied by column number 4, which is the quantity. And with the form that they have submitted, they have a correct name of the form, which is for goods offered from within the Philippines, but the content of the columns are different. So, for column 1 and 2, it's the same. For number 3, it's the same. For number 4, it's the same. Number 5 is the same. Number 6 is different. For them, the cost, the columns for the cost of local labor, raw material and equipment. For number 7, it's the total price X works per item, which is also different from the prescribed form. Column number 8 is unit price per final destination and unit price of other incidental services, which is also different from column number 8 of the prescribed form. Column number 9 is in the submitted document is sales and others taxes payable per item if contract is awarded, which is also different from the prescribed form. And the last column, the total price delivered at the final destination, which has a different formula, which is indicated as column 8 plus 9 multiplied by column number 4.
So with that, Mr. Chair, it would be impossible for us to determine the calculated bid of the submission of the bidder, considering that they're using different formula and they're also using a totally different indication per column in several columns of this particular form. Thus, we concluded to disqualify the bidder based on this material non-compliance.
Also, observation, Mr. Chair. If you try to look at the submitted form of the bidder, hindi rin na-follow kung, let's say, yung formula for the total price delivered at final destination, hindi niya rin po na-follow.
Hindi niya minultiply ng times 2.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Times 2 dapat yan.
And also, if we try to translate what was submitted based on the data ng form, we translated it into the prescribed form using the unit prices, taxes, etc. The calculated bid price will be already above the ABC of 30,
Okay.
which is also more than the ABC already.
Ilan yung ABC nito?
The ABC, Mr. Chair, is 35,463,000. Mr. Chair, if we translate the data and we calculate the bid offer, the calculated bid would be 36,063,424 pesos and 12 centavos.
Okay. Is it understood by the members? Any motion on this? Recommendation?
Mr. Chair, we recommend to we request approval of the draft letter in reply to the motion for reconsideration of domestic trading corporation,
Denying
denying their motion for reconsideration.
motion, please. Nag-iintay yung taas barat ka po nila.
Hindi po.
So will you go back to the first page? Motion man na lang ito for, ayan o, instruction for not complying to instruction to be the session. Any motion?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
I move to adopt the recommendations to the team to deny the motion for consideration of domestic trading corporation for non-compliance in the format and signing of instructions. And recommended to repeat that.
First
Yes, sir.
failure.
First failure, sir.
Ito lang tayo. No leader.
Dalawa po. Isa lang po, sir. Low bidder.
No leader.
Sa video ba?
One bidder lang, sir.
Hindi kayo yung isa.
Sa baba.
DQ, sir. West Point.
Na-DQ si West Point.
DQ, sa ano,
Okay.
ikaw favor ko. Sige, there is a motion here. To repeal. Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Repeat.
Noted, sir.
Next.
The second discussion, sir, on the MR of the bidder public for upgrading power system at General Santos Airport amounting to 98,800,000. This is the MR of Public Construction and Equipment Corporation, who was disqualified during the opening of bids last June 26. 2020. The findings were incomplete bid, and there is no breakdown on required tools for the generator. Item 7 of the scope of work.
Saan na yung sabihin?
Ito yung bid proposal nila, sir.
This is the submission of the bidder, Mr. Chair.
Ito yung submitted ng bidder.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
And no entries and amount indicated for generator maintenance tools and all the other requirement, all the subsequent requirements. While it is the contention of the bidder that they will be giving it for free and eventually will be given to the authority, but still we do not find it acceptable considering that it is clear in the IRR of 9184 and also clear in our ITB that they have to accomplish the quantity and the amount, the prices. So in this particular case, Mr. Chair, we cannot also determine the exact calculated bid of the bidder since there is no amount, price, or quantity indicated.
So maybe it's
So we actually drafted also a letter, Mr. Chair, in response to this, and we cited specific provisions of 9184 and its IRR, and together with the ITB.
Let me see the letter.
So we specify that under sections 15.2 of the instructions to bidder, it's very specific in providing guidelines on filling in rates and prices. So 15.2 provided that the bidder shall fill in rates and prices for all items of goods described in the schedule of prices. Bids not addressing or providing all the required items in bidding documents, including where applicable, schedule of prices should be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as non-responsive, but specifying a 0 or a dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free to the government except those required by law or regulations to be accomplished. In similar provisions, Mr. Chair, is also being indicated in our letter response, citing section 32.2.1 of the implementing rules and regulations of RA 9184, which determines which provides the completeness of the bid. And in this particular provision, it is clear that all items should be filled up by the bidder, and only those that are provided with 0 or dash would mean that it is free for the government. But in this particular case, there is no entry at all in the submission of the bidder. So for the TWG, the justification or the reason of the bidder FABMIC is not acceptable. Even though the intention is good that they will be providing it for free, but the rules and regulations, and there are specific provisions that requires them to provide details or entries to those items. We would like to show again, Mr. Chair, the submission of the bidder for appreciation of the members of the BAC. So items generator, maintenance tools, 1 each socket, wrench set. So no quantity, no unit price, no entries at all.
And ito yung explanation nila.
Their contention is that the installation and maintenance tools, they are the installations and maintenance tools for the first item, and they are free of cost, and they will be included in the turnover of the turnover to CAAP.
Zero or dash. Zero or dash. Zero or dash.
Yan doon sa bukid. Any comments from the members? Any motion? Maybe?
Motion, Mr. Chair,
Yes, please.
I move to adopt the recommendation of the TWG to deny the motion for consideration of public construction equipment company incorporated for renovation.
First page.
First page.
For non-compliance with the use of prescribed notation for the items that are offered free to the government.
Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Leave it right now.
Isa pa lang isa.
Twice per year.
This is a second failure decision. This will be for negotiation.
Second failure na to. Any recommendation here?
Considering, Mr. Chair, that this is the second failure for this particular project, PWG recommends that the conduct of negotiation for this project.
Public para?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
And we will invite all the previous leaders to this particular project.
Okay, let's do the proper documentations for this.
Noted, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Ilan pang projects ang nasa atin na hindi pa na-award? More or less, itong dalawa.
About six,
Lumang.
Lubang is to be returned to the end user. Baler.
Sir, we have other matters for discussion of
Ang sinasabi ko, parang i-use mo na rin. Other matters, please?
yes, sir. We already have the report, sir, for the letter reply from PhilJeps with regard to our request for clarification and request for verification on the publication for the Baler Airport project. So,
If I may read, sir, the reply of PhilJeps. Good day, we are delighted to inform you that the below request has been facilitated. Upon checking the bid notice of Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, with reference number 6960719, there is no uploaded document in bid bulletin number 2. Please see attached screenshot for your reference. So they confirm what the Miss Bell said earlier na she was not able to attach the bid bulletin, sir.
Anong company?
It's,
Kabako.
Kabako.
Kapakon? Pero mayroong isa na nagsabi na mayroon siyang nakita. Isa.
Sintay Corporation, sir.
Yes, can you comment on that?
Sir, if I may comment on that, sir. It is possible, while the letter of Sindai indicated, sir, that they were able to obtain a copy of the bid bulletin through through the internet, or they were able to download the copy of the bid bulletin in the internet. But considering the confirmation from the field jet, sir, that there was indeed no attachment, it would appear to us, sir, specifically for the BAC Secretariat and PWG, upon reviewing all the records, that they were able to obtain the copy of said bid bulletin from another project, which was included. I mean, in that particular bid bulletin, sir, two projects were included. So, in high probability, they were able to obtain a similar bid bulletin from another project, though it contains similar bid bulletin information, but it is not posted in that particular project. So it is an advantage for Sintay that they were able to participate in other projects, thus they were able to obtain. But for other bidders who were not interested in other projects, there's no way for them to verify in other posting of the CAAP. So they only rely on the posting of that particular project without the necessary attachment. So the argument of Sintay, sir, cannot be accepted as a fact here that it is indeed uploaded, because the field judge has confirmed that there was no uploading. There was an uploading, but there was no attachment.
To answer, on this in type is the loan, the bidder for Calayan Airport, which was included in that bid bulletin. So in most probability, sir, nakita niya doon, and he used that bid bulletin for this project.
Same bid bulletin number.
Yes, sir.
Actually, sir, for same type, it was 1129, however, the same company, sister company, sir.
Okay. Anyway, we have the proof, we have the response of PhDs already that walang posted. Walang attachment.
Attachment.
There is no attachment. So, from here, we will allow Kabakon.
Yes, sir.
Anong next move dito?
The PWG,
Sir, if I may, our
Yes.
pending activity, sir, is we granted the motion of Kabakon. Actually, we wrote them and we invited them for the opening of this financial component. Only that on that same day, dumating yung letter ni Sintay. And standing yun, sir, approve ang kanya, granted ang kanya MR.
Okay, so we will grant the MR and then we will open
Financial component.
yung financial component. When will we do that?
We can schedule.
Schedule natin.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, actually, sir, we already granted, we wrote already Kabakon granting the motion for consideration. So we will now just be issuing a letter invitation for the other bidders to witness the opening of bid, sir.
Okay, when will that be?
Friday. This Friday, sir, if you're available, if your schedule is okay.
Friday will be good for you, members?
So, pagdating sa kanyang project, okay na lang.
No, bigyan mo na talaga. Kompleto naman kayo. Ano naman ba? You can view it online.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ang Friday sa
So, 10 a.m. sir.
Morning, sir.
10 a.m.
May we request, sir, if, may we know, sir, from the members of the BAC, sir, who can attend physically, here.
Wala tayo sa Friday. This next week.
Yeah, yes, sir, that's right.
Oh,
After lunch, siguro, pwede, hindi lang kami ng lunchtime, sir. Ito Friday, before 12, dito naman.
oh. Ayun ba?
Let's close na. 2
Ako
p.m.
na Friday. Okay.
2 p.m. Friday.
Friday, 2 o'clock. Any more? Yes, please.
So, the protest letter of sin, parang kayo yung nagbigay ng reason on why, bakit nagagano'n, bakit may protest. Diba? So, i-letter pa natin to si Sinta and explain. Kasi yung protest letter na causes delay of the opening of the financial days. And we also found out na mali yung kanya basis on protesting. So what will be our move with regards to the action of Sinta?
Mr. Chair, I think we have to prepare a letter reply indicating the verification that we had from PhilJeps, citing that indeed there was no posted attachment. And with that, we will proceed with the opening of these.
So wala bang basis for assumption? Kasi this will always happen, will always be delayed sa mga ano. Bagang dinidispute niya yung sinabi ni Kabako. Dinidispute niya, that causes delay.
Yes.
So, without a complete basis, dinelay niya yung proceedings natin, dinidispute niya yung letter ni Kabako, and then, gano'n lang yun.
We can actually, sir, if I may suggest, we can actually warn Sintay that should, like, succeeding back proceedings, I mean, similar actions will be done, then we might blacklist them for cause of delay and other reasons. We will just cite them. We will prepare the letter, sir, and we will present it on Friday. No, opening na pala sa Friday.
Okay. So,
Kasi side.
And
is that the WD recommendation to give first warning sanction?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that the recommendation?
Yes.
Para, kasi hindi pwedeng gano'n-gano'n na kasi kung laging mangyayari ng gano'n, protesting without concrete basis, focus ng delay, hindi maganda. So, kailangan na sanction.
And misleading din ang yan.
Misleading.
Kasi
If you will know, magpro-protest ka, merong involved dito, diba? He presented a document na hindi nanggaling sa PhilJeps. So that will be the basis. Kung saan niya nakuha yun, ino-contest niya ng PhilJeps yun, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Na-download dun sa let's write a letter na yun ang tono. Yung relegation plan. We just, please, we are cautioning you that if you ever cite PhilJeps as a reference, be sure na it really comes from PhilJeps. Yun ang
We can actually, sir, if I may suggest, we can actually just cite, Eileen perhaps mentioned that, the letter na these, unverified, sources, we will not tolerate the use of unverified sources, from ganun na, sir. From align to our need to that.
Yes, enlighten on all that.
Yeah.
I don't think representative lang din ang while he is a representative, he should be. Dapat kasama lamang ng Sinday na yung basis niya is hindi nanggaling sa dito. Yes, please.
Another thing, Mr. Chair. So, during the opening of bids, meron tayong mga bidders na nakapag-present ng bid bulletin number 2. So, it was not uploaded. Saan nanggaling yung bid bulletin number 2?
Sa back office, sir. They secured from back office.
Back of bids.
Yes, sir.
But during the opening of bids, kaya natin na-digil siya. Sinabi ng back office na wala kayong na-issue. Kaya nga we are suspecting na galing sa ABMS or kung saan galing. But during the opening of bids, nasabi niyo na wala kayong na-issue. Kaya nga, meron isang bidder noon na during the opening, tsaka lang siya nag-secure ng bid bulletin number 2. Kaya nga, na-DQ siya dahil kaya nga, ibig sabihin, during the opening of bids, nasabi niyo wala lang galing sa inyo. Ngayon, saan lang galing yung attach ng ibang bidders na bid bulletin number 2? Walang upload sa PhilDex, walang na-release ang back na bid bulletin number 2. Bakit yung ibang bidders may bid bulletin number 2? Isa pa ang issue. Kasi kung ganyan, pwede tayong pagsuspensyahan na may pinapakulan tayo, may binibigyan tayo, yung iba hindi nabibigyan na to the point na nabibigyan sila. Dapat ayusin natin.
Actually, we gave one, sir, yung isa na nagsabi, NA Ibarra, kasi wala daw silang na-attach. And the other bidder asked at 10 o'clock yata. And the other one, ayaw ko nag-photocopy siya, pero nag-usap sila eh.
May isang nakakuha na hindi natin alam kung saan yan. So, dapat yung mga issue na gano'n na kinukulit natin. Kasi pwede tayong pagsuspensyahan na may pinapakuran tayo, may nabibigyan, despite hindi natin ma-upload. Bakit?
Nag-initiative kasi, they asked Secretariat and may due diligence siya. So
We cannot refuse not to.
But if I may, sir, under normal circumstances, sir, pag may bumili, may table, may data na kami na may bumili. Pag may bulletin, other than posting, binibigyan din namin sila kasi identified namin sila. Except for these times na ang mga bumili hindi namin alam. Kasi nagbabayad sila on the day of the submission. So we did not know na walang attachment, actually. We did not know. Doon lang na umaga. That's why I was alarmed when NA Bana asked for a copy. Kasi wala daw siyang nakita. So I asked Melay na kung anong nangyari. Hindi nila ma-verify pa kasi hindi pa nakausap si Disper.
anyway, the point here is walang naka-post sa mga.
No attachment.
No attachment. So we'll open this February, Friday,
July 10, sir.
July
2 p.m.
Valero ito, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Anong ADC? Di ba rin?
Sir, we have one last item. Halapan. Ha? Sir, we actually just received an email from SM Castle Management and Construction Services. Just today, sir, this afternoon during our meeting, and we wanted to inform the committee on the back on this particular matter. So, allow me, sir, to read the contents of the letter. So, the letter is dated July 1, but it is just received just today and during our meeting, and it is addressed to the chairman of the Bids and Awards Committee, Charlie. So, the contents of the letter are as follows. Last June 5, 2020, we participated in the bidding for the Calapan Airport Development Project, asphalt overlay of runway shoulder, and street grade correction, runway markings. Our technical documents passed the initial inspection of the Bids and Awards Committee, BAC, along with other contractors, namely Sintay Construction Corporation. This passing of the pre-qualification processes led to the opening of the financial bids of two contractors. Number one, SM Castle Management and Construction Services. Bid amount is 38,500,584 pesos and 15 centavos. Sintay Construction Corporation, bid amount of 33,667 pesos, 1,914 pesos. After the bidding, we tried researching Sintay Construction Corporation, and we discovered a listing dated September 6, 2019. From the article, this construction company, including its former company, RC Tagala Construction Corporation, were part of the list of blacklisted contractors with the Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH. We only wish for the post-evaluation team to look into this and confirm the blacklisting of the company so as to aid in their selection of the post-qualification of the project. We hope you can shed some clarity in this matter. Thank you very much, and we wish you more power. And the letter is signed by Engineer Santiago M. Castro, General Manager of SM Castro Management Construction. But Mr. Chair, we already conduct our research, and with regard to the blacklisting of Sintay Construction Corporation, the DPWH already released a letter dated October 1, 2019. Allow me, Mr. Chair, to read also the contents of the letter of DPWH. So this has reference to your petition dated May 10, 2019, praying for the shortening of the period of suspension or blacklisting from 1 year to 6 months, and removed from the list of blacklisted contractors, Executive Order number 292, EO 292, or the Administrative Code of the Philippines, particularly Section 7.4, Chapter 2, Book 4, thereof grants the Secretary of the Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH, the power to promulgate administrative issuances necessary for the efficient administration of the office under the Secretary and for proper execution of the laws relative thereto. Likewise, the 2016 Revised Implementing Rules and Regulations of Republic Act 9184, specifically under Item 6.0 of the Uniform Guidelines for Blacklisting, states that upon termination of contract due to default of contractor, the head of the procuring entity shall immediately issue a blacklisting order disqualifying the hearing contractor from participating in the bidding of all government projects. This express provision gives the Secretary of the Department of Public Works and Highways, as head of the procuring entity, the authority to issue a blacklisting or suspension order from the hearing contractors. It must be noted, however, that the blacklisting suspension period met against Sintite Construction Corporation via Department Order Number 135 Series of 2018, dated September 6, 2018, has already lapsed. Furthermore, under the implementing rules and regulations of RA 9184, upon the lapse of the period of suspension, a blacklisted contractor shall automatically be delisted. Therefore, the petition to shorten the period of suspension as well as the removal from the list of blacklisted contractor is already moot and academic. So for the information of the BAC, Sintite Corporation is no longer included in the blacklisted contractors of the DPWH.
Okay. And let's respond to that letter of Astro.
Yes, sir. We will prepare the necessary letter.
Any more?
None for TWG, sir.
None, sir.
Ready to adjourn.
Okay, let's receive from Bobby. Dr. Mayaman is here to check you. Thank you for coming, Doc. Talagang nandiyan pa sa sulok. Safe na safe pa.
Safe na safe, Doc.
Let's be cautious. Do not be complacent. So the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat.
Motion to adjourn.